Hey guys, Dani here, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. It has officially been 2 months since I picked up Zenon, my Tesla Model 3, and I wanted to give you kind of a behind the scenes look of the good, the bad, and the ugly of owning this vehicle. So, if you want to peek behind the curtains on what it's like to own a Tesla Model 3, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and let's jump into it. I am going to start with the bad stuff, mostly because I want to end on a good note, but that also means that do not watch just the first half of the video and think that I hate this car or that I think that everything is wrong with this car, because there are problems with all cars and nothing is perfect in life. So all of the good stuff and what I love about this car will be at the end of the video, so don't just watch the first half. So my first major gripe with this car is that it doesn't come with everything that you need to own the vehicle. By that I mean things like floor mats and the right charging adapters. While yes, I am well aware that there are a lot of other cars out there that do not come with things such as floor mats in their vehicles, the reason why this is a gripe for me is because of the fact that Tesla has pioneered, so to speak, a new way of buying a vehicle. You can buy a car online, and you're not actually talking to a person. And if you're not talking to a person, they don't necessarily remind you that you need to pick up these things, and or you're not kind of negotiating because everyone pays the same price, which is also a good thing. But because everyone's paying the same price, they're doing everything online, and you're not really negotiating like to get free floor mats or whatever else that you need. And in my opinion, if Tesla is going to be revolutionizing like how people buy their vehicles, it's not that hard to add a section on the website when you're purchasing the vehicle to say, hey, you might want to pick up floor mats. You can add this to the cart. You might want to pick up this adapter for charging. You might want to add this to the cart. And again, the main reason why this was a problem is because when I purchased my car, I went to get the NEMA 1450 adapter, which they no longer include standard with the car, which isn't a big deal. But none of the service centers in my area had the charger, and it was sold out online. Thankfully, they found a way for me to get the adapter that I needed, but it would have just been easier because you're already waiting a couple of weeks for your car to come in, for you to just order everything that you need right then and there, and then it will come in time for you to pick up your car, and there is no stress and no hassle. The second thing that is a little bit annoying is the fact that you have to buy additional things to almost make your car functional as they add features. So Franz, he's the lead designer at Tesla. In my mind, I would think that, for example, there's only 2 USB plugs at the front of the car. But when they're designing this car, he should be thinking, okay, well, if you have a driver and a passenger and they each need to charge their phone, and we have Sentry mode, which requires a USB to be plugged in, and we're putting games on this car, which we're telling people to plug in controllers, maybe we should put more than 2 USB ports and a place to hide the hard drive, so if someone actually breaks into your car, they don't just take the hard drive so that you don't know what happened to your car. And I understand that like a lot of these things have been recently added, and there are software updates, which is part of one of the cool things about this car. But if you're gonna update the car software, in my opinion, you should also be updating the hardware to accommodate the software features. It just doesn't make sense that I have to go out and buy aftermarket things in order to accommodate the features that are in my car. And because Tesla is a quote-unquote premium brand, all of these third-party accessories that you have to buy come at a premium. That's just my opinion. I wish that they would just include things to make the car practical. Speaking of practicality, piano black and paint protection. I do not know what possessed anyone to put piano black finish, which is the shiny, glossy, very easily scratched and damaged finish, in the most highly trafficked areas of the car, as in the center console and where you go to open and close the car. Again, like, I don't understand this type of decision, and if you go on any Tesla group or any forum, the first thing they tell you is, as soon as you get your car, go get the center console wrapped or you will destroy it. So again, why am I, as the owner who just bought a brand new car, spending more money to protect the materials in my car because there were a poor choice in materials? And again, in my opinion, I think that this is not something that shouldn't be easily iterated on. So if there's a couple of complaints, they can change the material. It should be as simple as that. I know that it's more complicated than that because there's production lines and all that stuff, but it should be as simple as that, because they don't even do like, oh, this is a 2017, this is a 2018, this is a 2019. So they can keep reiterating if they wanted to. And paint protection. That is the other thing that everyone tells you to put immediately on your car, because apparently the paint on the car is super soft and easily damaged. Again, this does not make any sense to me, because if I am buying a vehicle which is going to be on the road, which has rocks and dirt and whatever else, I shouldn't be afraid of my car being hurt from some rocks because the paint is that soft and I want my car looking nice and staying nice. It's, again, another added expense when all they really need to do is change the formulation of the paint so that it's more durable. I didn't hear this when I bought a Civic. I don't hear this when anyone else buys a car. Yes, some people put paint protection on their car and that's their choice, but the way that the Tesla community makes it sound, it's like a necessity. So if the paint is really that soft and that bad, then it needs to be fixed and or changed. The fourth complaint is that there are not basic features that were on my horrible, crappy Honda Civic, which I don't get. Things like being able to plug in my phone and my iPod at the same time, and my iPod controls the music, and I'm still able to receive phone calls and text messages and everything else on my phone when I need to. I can't do that in my Tesla. I also can't control things like my podcasts or my music in my Tesla. And if, again, a crappy car has that, and most cars have that because they do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and I understand the reasons why Tesla doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but they should at least have those type of features. Yes, they just added voice commands and text messaging in the Christmas Eve update, which is awesome. And again, all of this can be solved with an over-the-air update. So this is not something that is going to stay a problem forever, hopefully. But it's just the fact that, like, why are you releasing a car that is so awesome in all of these other ways, but then doesn't have basic features that, I can get on like a $19,000 car? And the reason why this is an issue is because, let's say, for example, I decide that I'm going to listen to a podcast today. And my podcast is an hour long. My commute is 40, 50 minutes long. It's perfect. But then I run into traffic. And now, all of a sudden, my podcast ends before I get to my destination. And the only way to remedy that in that moment is either like sit there in awkward silence for the rest of your drive, or literally break the law and use your phone and touch your phone, which you're not allowed to do, to change the podcast or switch to music or do whatever else you need to do. They do have built-in Spotify in the car, but as anyone who watches my channel knows, I have several issues with Spotify, and I will not be using Spotify, and I shouldn't be forced to use Spotify because that is the only option in my car. I should be able to use whatever streaming/podcast service that I want in my car with ease. That's all I'm saying. So they either add those features in themselves or just bite the bullet and get Apple CarPlay. They just got to do it. My very last complaint is the interior doors. I have only had this car for 2 months. That is 60 days. And the inside of my door already looks like this. And that's because every single time I get out of my car, I end up kicking the door accidentally because I need to get extra clearance for my brace, and to like swing out is hard because I'm still having a lot of trouble like controlling my knee because it's injured. Obviously, I'm in a kind of specific circumstance, but I also believe that car companies should be implementing accessibility features in the sense that that's the type of stuff that they should be testing. If someone has to transfer from a wheelchair into their car, that should be possible and easy in any car. So they can either put better material there so that it doesn't dent as easily as it dents, or enable the door to open further so that I have more clearance to get out of the car, so like easier to push. Either or would work. I don't know if you've caught on by now, but all of these complaints are either very minor, also done by other manufacturers, or easily remedied by a software update. And that is because, in reality, even though there are these minor annoyances, I love this car. I love this car so much that I don't think that I will ever buy another non-Tesla car in my entire life. These cars are the safest, they are clearly the most technologically advanced, and I just love this car. Buying this car has changed every aspect of my life, whether it be from autopilot that gives me energy back every single day so that by the time I get home, I actually still have energy to get other things done, or something as simple as the fact that the key is my phone and I don't have to use any type of keys to control my car, meaning that I've actually started trying to convince my mom that we need to get electronic keys for our house so that I don't have keys at all, and it's simplifying my life. I care so much about my car to the point where I invested in a Dyson cordless vacuum in order to clean my car, only to discover that buying this vacuum completely revolutionized me cleaning, because it makes sweeping and vacuuming and dusting just so much easier in my house because of my injury. And again, this is saving me time, this is saving me pain, this is saving me energy. It also got me to look into how energy and solar and batteries operate in general. Obviously, I wanted to minimize the cost of electricity in charging my car, because at first I was worried that it was going to cost a lot, which, by the way, it really doesn't. I should probably do a video on that at some point, but it really doesn't. So by doing that, by looking into these technologies and looking into how energy works and looking into how energy is billed where I live, I have actually made my entire house way more efficient than before I bought this car. And even though we haven't gotten solar yet, our bill is either the same because it's winter sometimes and like Christmas and lights or whatever, or lower because we have increased our efficiency by understanding how all of this stuff works, which is something that we never looked into before. We just kind of used our house And now we use our house wisely. Lastly, anytime anyone gets into my car, they are extremely amazed of the car and its performance and its features, which then means that we get into a conversation about price, because everyone thinks that the Teslas are $100,000 when they're not. That gives me an opportunity to educate them. And especially because Christmas just went by, I saw a lot more of my family and a lot more people got test rides in my car. And now I have a bunch of my younger cousins who really want to buy a Tesla when they're buying their first vehicles on their own. And I can't imagine my little brother, who's 12 right now, ever buying a gas powered car. And by the end of Christmas, I even had an aunt who is now very seriously considering buying a Tesla, because she had a lot of fears and misconceptions, and by being able to have a conversation, I was able to dispel those and break down the numbers and all that stuff. And that means that my family is better off. Better off in terms of money saving in gas and maintenance, better off in terms of safety, because these cars are the top rated cars, are the top rated cars in safety, and better off in terms of our own health, because we're not inhaling a bunch of toxic fumes at the gas station or at the back of our cars. So the Tesla effect is real and it is strong, and that is what I love so much about this car. So that is the good, the bad, the ugly of owning a Tesla vehicle. If you are considering or about ready to buy your own Tesla, please be sure to use my referral code. It will give you 1,500 kilometers or 1,000 miles of free supercharging. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will continue to make occasional updates here and there about my experience with this vehicle. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day, a great rest of your year, and I will see you in 2020. Bye.